What's going on, guys? Welcome to Dime Dropper, episode 62 of our 24-minute recaps. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper Podcast, Apple Podcasts. Make sure to leave a review if you'd like. Spotify. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. So for today's episode, we're going to talk about, at the very end, USC, UCLA. Advancing to the Sweet 16. Don't know when the last time that was, when both of them made it to the Sweet 16 was. Also be talking about the Clipper comeback. My goodness, what a game. Can't wait to get into that. But first, I want to get serious for just a little second because today was a very sad day in the basketball world. I couldn't believe it. Elgin Baylor, one of the greatest players to ever play basketball. You know, as I said, still in the 60s, about to be done with the 60s. Elgin Baylor was one of the GOATs of the 60s, one of the GOATs of basketball. And, my whole life, a lot of people say Elgin Baylor is one of the most underrated players of all time. And for whatever reason, I never thought so because I live in LA. So my whole life, I've been around Laker, the folklore and the movies and all the DVDs. And, man, Elgin Baylor is one of those everybody says. And, Dr. J before the doctor and MJ before MJ, and the guy that was the first guy to hang in the air. And, not that many games of him exist, full games. 1963 Game 6, I've seen it. It was very good. There's obviously some highlights of the 1962 finals record in which he still holds the highest, the finals high for a player, 61 points in Game 5 of the 62 finals against the Celtics. And his hang time, his passing ability, very underrated. I tweeted an insane outlet pass that he had. But, he was an already established star by the time the Lakers came here to Los Angeles. And he and Jerry West really started the great tradition of the Lakers, even though the sad part with Elgin Baylor is he never got that elusive ring. 69 and 1970 finals are definitely some of the big blemishes. But at the same time, 1965, after Elgin Baylor's injury in 1965, it wasn't the same. Didn't average 30 points ever again. But, also to be the GM of the Clippers, Elgin Baylor gave me the team that made me fall in love with the Clippers, the 06 Clippers. And, he probably had to put up with some really suspect shit with that scum slumlord, racist piece of shit, Sterling. So all in all, and then, it's great that he was immortalized at Staples Center. All in all, one of the greatest to ever do it. Elgin Baylor, rest in peace, man. Very sad. We have too many of these legends going. I think, man, ESPN and these people should really try to give the 60s players, more coverage, do something on them because, we don't really have that many of them left, Russell, Jerry West, and just hearing Jerry West talk about it, man, today was so sad, man. Jerry West, that guy really knows how to capture emotion. I don't know. There's some things I just haven't some things I have in common with him. He takes defeat so hard and nothing he does is ever enough. And in ways I kind of relate to that, but let's get on to the good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. The Clippers and the Hawks. So the Hawks have been red hot, a dime dropper team, of course. Nate McMillan has them turned around. They've been back healthy. What I didn't know tonight, though, was that DeAndre Hunter was going to be back. Where were I'm sorry, but I didn't see any Clipper PR that I follow. Or beat writers talking about DeAndre Hunter. That's a significant piece to the game and a piece of the Hawks team. And he came back and I was like, what the hell? But so, playing against, but he came off the bench. Tony Snell has been playing phenomenal basketball since he's been inserted into the starting lineup. He's been lights out from three. He's given him a lot of versatility on defense. And so we start out the game and we start out very well. I mean, very well. It was sharp on defense. We were hedging and recovering on Trae Young. So Reggie Jackson was putting a good amount of pressure over screens. And Zubats, we were doing as great a job as you'd want to try to force Trae as wide as possible, try to keep him out of the middle. And Zubats was doing a really good job of just stunning and, intimidating Trae enough to not try to throw the lob to Capella. Because one of those things with Zoo that we've talked about is his flaw in pick and roll are lob threats. Collins and Capella are lob threats. but we kept Trey out of the middle of the floor. And Trey hasn't been forcing it as much with McMillan. But I really liked the way we started. Our ball movement was good. I thought that Zubats was just awesome, just great. I thought Paul George took it to the basket a couple times. I thought his first quarter was great, Paul George. He was taking it to the basket a couple times. Even when he misses, that attracts two defenders, gets Zubats an opportunity to get offensive rebounds. Kawhi had some really nice passes, some also errant passes in the first quarter, but he had some nice dimes. Marcus Morris Sr. really got us off to a really good start, knocking down shots, 3 balls, jumpers, everything, mid-range, but all of a sudden, Lou comes in, Batum comes in, and we plummet. Absolutely plummet. You got to give the Hawks some credit. I mean, they are back. They have a deep team. Bogdanovich, Gallo, and Gallo finished 2 of 9, but those 2 shots came in that second quarter, I believe. And I can't help but laugh when Gallo scores because, I just love that guy, man. I just love Gallo. It was funny because with Gallo, I was one of those people in 2018. I was like, bro, I don't know why we got this guy. He's so injury prone. I love Gallo. I used to be a huge fan in Denver, but he's injury prone. That 2019 season, the resurgence, it was unlike anything I've ever seen. If there was a comeback player of the year, you need Gallinari would have won that year, man. I can't think of anything else, but Gallo was unbelievable. And he's just been great since. And he's given the Hawks a great lift since he's been back. And he hit those 2 shots. I know he cooled down later, but at that time of the game, he was doing well. Bogdanovich was getting the pick and roll. Rondo had a really nice outlet pass to John Collins, and John Collins just continues to be a beast. I mean, he's so active. He's the first to get out in transition, and him and Capella actually offensive rebound. Capella got 5 offensive rebounds tonight. Collins 2. As a whole, the Hawks got 15 offensive boards to our 8. So, they're active on the glass. And Lou, ball stopper, man. Ball stopper. Turnovers. Missing shots. Batum. Good defense. Great communication. Not knocking down shots. That's the one thing that's kind of really tailed off as the season's gone on. But I don't care about the knocking down shots that much. I like that he spaces the floor, and I like that he communicates and plays defense. We'll get back into Batum in a second. But he wasn't hitting shots, and Lou just pissing me off because he always wants to control the ball because he doesn't do anything off the ball. And honestly, he's not bad because he can shoot off the ball. But I don't know. He seems to want to dominate the ball, and that's when it's coach, why isn't Kennard playing over this man? It's getting ridiculous. But anyway, so we got outscored 34-18 in the second. And then, Kawhi comes back in, he starts forcing it. Really forcing the issue. We missed some good shots around the basket. Paul George, Kawhi. I think it may have been Zoo missed a little jump hook around the basket. Terrence even. Just we weren't hitting shots. We were getting decent ones, and we just weren't hitting shots at the end of the second. And Trey was feeling it. And I just really like the way Trey's been playing lately offensively. He's just been so much smarter, more patient, not just running pick and roll every time. He's made some actual passes tonight, and I saw them running plays to get Capella a low post touch early in that third quarter. It was late in that second quarter, coming off the timeout, I believe. And Trey started hitting threes, getting in the pick and roll, and Zubats, he started getting in the middle of the floor, and Zubats, he doesn't want to overcommit, because he knows Capella's going to be there for that lob. So that's when you're in a pickle. And Reggie Jackson, he's not the most, the toughest defender getting over screens. He can try, but he's not long. He's just 6'2" point guard, 6'3" point guard. So Trey was hitting everything, and we were down 15 at the half. So I'm not too concerned at that point. I'm just as long as we just hit shots and play defense, let's just be a good test of the team. I mean, this is a Hawks team that is in form. I mean, I was not panicking at all, because at this point, Clipper fans, you got to realize what we're dealing with here. This team is good, but we're not that great. I still believe we need a move. Make no mistake about it. I still believe we need a move, because the Hawks are not going to be close to what the best opposition is if we want to get to the ultimate goal. But I will say this. Yeah. Sorry, just blanked for a second. But yeah, I still think we need to move. But So we get to the third quarter, right? The Hawks continue to play great. DeAndre Hunter's hitting contested shots. John Collins is everywhere. Tony Snell's running us off the three-point line and hitting floaters. John Collins is hitting floaters. And we keep getting good looks, and none of them are going in. Even Morris Sr., he missed 2 threes before he made the third. And then Kawhi started missing. And then you know what happens when you don't make those open shots? Confidence gets low. You start getting discouraged, and the communication wasn't as sharp on defense. The foot speed wasn't as sharp, just a little less effort, a little less alertness. I remember Senior got blown by easily. And then I think it was Collins got an N1, blowing by Senior baseline. And then we went down 21 points. Ty Lue calls a timeout. I'm just like, this is insane. Like, we're really getting run off the court. Like, let's see how this game ends, and then I'll make my judgment, and we'll talk about the loss in the recap. What I didn't realize is what Ty Lue had up his sleeve. An old school maneuver. Discipline. Individually, necessarily any of them playing that great, but nothing crazy. Not terrible effort. Not that hunger that you want to see. Throws in a lineup of Patrick Patterson, Amir Coffey, Nick Batum, Terrence Mann, and Luke Kennard. And Luke Kennard gets into the game. The lineup, everybody can kind of switch. For the most part. Nah, not really. They were just playing hard. I mean, point blank, a lot of hedging and recovering. That's my favorite type of pick and roll defense. Force them sideline, hedge and recover, put pressure on the pass to not let them throw the cross-court pass. Patrick Patterson was doing some work, but it really came from a spark on offense. Terrence Mann getting to the rim. Luke Kennard hitting jumpers. Not surprised at all. His first basket was a beautiful take to the rim. It looked like he was going to get blocked. Went up on the left side, and he went up with the right hand on the other side. That was a really good reverse. So that set the tone. That gave him the confidence. He started hitting shots, hitting jumpers. And then at the end of the quarter, Rondo misses, and Kennard, after coming up from a pull-up three, pull-up three, hits a half-court buzzer beater. I couldn't believe it. And in this stretch, Patrick Patterson before that had a putback dunk. Like, unbelievable. Luke Kennard, the audacity of Coach Ty Lue to pull out his starters. And here's the thing. Clipper Nation knows. I tweeted it. I said, I like it. Some Clipper fans may have thought Ty Lue's lost the plot. We're in shambles right now. Can't do anything. 21-point game. Starters out of whack and whooped by the Hawks. He didn't lose the plot. He took the starters out, disciplining them. Hungry players came in. Amir Coffey, hungry. Terrence, goddamn man, hungry. Luke Kennard, been getting slighted all season. Don't know why. Hungry. Start of the fourth quarter, Patrick Patterson, pick and pop three. Rondo was doing us some favors, I have to admit, in that second half. 1 of 5 for him. Bogdanovich started to cool down. Gallinari, 2 of 9. Kevin Huerter, we did a good job of keeping him at bay. 2 points, 1 of 6. This was one of the just and